Welcome, friends, to the Caring View Takeover show. So, very different tonight. We've been invited. We're so pleased to be here. Myself, Chris, and Stephen of the Purple Mountain. And we just want to say to Adam and Mark, thank you so much for allowing us to take over this evening and share our health and well-being experience with you all. So, it's absolute pleasure to be here. Before I forget, don't forget to click and subscribe to this wonderful show and all the guests they have on and everything that's shared. Some wonderful work being done in all areas in this time. And it's wonderful to be here, isn't it, Stephen?
Absolutely amazing. It's really exciting to share some of our tips and share some of our wonderful knowledge and experiences that we've gained over the many years we've been involved in this health and well-being side of our work, which is a passion of us, isn't it?
Absolutely. And our work is at the Purple Mountain Spiritual and Wellbeing Centre, and we're coming up to our 10-year anniversary this year. And we began as a volunteer-based centre in the town of Fleetwood, and we built from there. We've had lots of help over the years from wonderful volunteers, from family and close friends, and far and wide people that we met. And it's all about that word, that well-being, and taking care of ourselves and realizing, and this is what myself and Stephen want to talk about tonight, is the importance of you. There's so many of us in this world at this minute. There is a lot of issues going on. I don't want to go into all those, but what's important is to come back to looking after ourselves. There's so many of us that worry about others. We're so running ourselves ragged so much in our working life. We're overthinking, we're questioning ourselves all the time. So I feel it's really important to bring ourselves back to that space of empowering ourselves, that you are you for a reason. So we don't need to be anybody else or aspire to be anybody else. You only need to aspire to be the very best version of you. So when we talk about well-being, Stephen, where do we start?
I think what's really important part to start this conversation is a tip of mine, which I mean, there's loads of areas that we can get into, isn't it, Chris? And I mean, later on, just like to mention, and everybody that's listening, we will be doing a 15-minute meditation and some breath work. Which is another passion of ours, the importance of meditation, the importance of breath. And we'll be doing that at the end of the show. So please stay tuned in at the end. But I'd like to just discuss about the importance of nature and our relationship with nature, because I find that people are, like Chris said before, so many people are working God knows how many hours. They're getting so stressed. So they're getting worked up. Everybody feels they're trapped in the mind. They're worrying about finances. They're worrying about family and children. And we don't have to. We can take time out. And one of the ways we can do that, one of the things that me and Chris regularly do and promote, is spending time in nature. We're lucky because where the centre is in Lancashire, in Fleetwood, we're by the seaside. So we take the opportunities, don't we, Chris, on a daily basis, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day for half an hour, going for a walk, just spending time in nature. There's some wonderful parks where we are, but we love the sea. So we will go on the beach, take our shoes and socks off, and we just ground ourselves. And those electrons, there's a lots of fantastic scientific research out there that tells people about the importance of meditation and the amazing things the earth can do by helping us ground us from a really busy day. If you're stressed, take time, 10 minutes out, go for a bit of a walk, spend time in the garden, soak up the sun. And you can even do that in winter as well. How many of us feel absolutely refreshed and feel so invigorated after going for a long walk? You've got an animal, you've got a dog, go out for a walk with your dog. Spend time in nature. Spend time in nature wherever you can. I know a lot of people now, aren't they, Chris, that do, particularly in the summer, take their work out in nature and do a bit of your work, do a bit of your computer work out in nature, spend your time in nature. I know you're very passionate, aren't you, Chris, about going for walks?
Yeah, absolutely. And what comes to mind when you mentioning that, Stephen, is something particularly over the last couple of years that I feel we appreciate more is those things that come for free with no cost. and there's so
Absolutely.
much available. So if you, and we were very lucky, we live by the seaside, but maybe there's a park nearby you, maybe there's somewhere you can just drive to and go for a little bit of a walk. It's something my granddad used to say to me when I was a child. He said, you know, if you're feeling things are a bit on top of you, or go for a bit of a walk. And he used to take me for walks all the time on the beach here, and you always feel that little bit better, relieving that pressure. And quite often, we will give ourselves or use excuses, and we're not immune to this. Myself and Stephen do it, and this is what I want to talk about with health and well-being. There's nothing that's going to help us reach perfection that I've seen yet. So it's like myself and Stephen, we can still get anxious, we can still get stressed, but by using some of these tools, we can fall back on them and say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm feeling a bit anxious. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to take myself, just go for a walk, and I'm going to get some fresh air, and just to help myself with a bit of clarity there. And that will help a little bit. So it's things that come for free like that. And also meeting like-minded friends as well. Spend time with people that you have, loving and equal relationships with. It's good sometimes to just go for a little bit of a coffee, or meet up with your friends and have a little bit of a chat. What we find a lot of is the pressure that we put on ourselves is so hard, and we're very, very good at being very, very hard on ourselves in this world and taking ourselves to court. We're experts at it, but we're not very good at, what we need to try to improve at for our own sakes, is practicing loving kindness. And that's looking at ourselves and saying, I love you, which it can be a challenge, it can be, but starting to see our better qualities. And something that I say as well, that in a day, yeah, look at the things you need to improve on after your day, but also look at the good things you do. Bring that in a little bit. And what I wanted to mention, along with nature as well, is actually taking ourselves away from technology at the moment. Now, technology has a lot of positive uses, but also everything in moderation. So, looking at screens for a long amount of time, especially if you work in that industry that you need to do that, I feel it's important in your free time to try and take yourself away from that. So reading is very good. Coming back to a book, and what you're doing with that time of reading or time of going for a walk, nature, is you're allowing yourself that slot. So when we say we haven't enough time, we can make time. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, bringing those practices in. And actually, by stopping and doing that, whatever we're going back to, whether that's work or something that's concerning us, it'll just help you gain that clarity, take that pressure away. And these things do work, don't they, Stephen? Because myself and Stephen practice these an awful lot. And they help us all the time. And also, creativity is another one. If you're creative, if you like to paint, if you like to draw, if you like to write, um, or perhaps taking up a hobby like that, hobbies are really good. Something to just take ourselves out of those pressures that daily life can bring.
I think it's important to interject there as well because I'm very passionate at the moment, these past couple of years, about the language that we use because language is the way we speak and the words we use are incredibly powerful and influential. We can talk ourselves into very negative situations. I mean, just using the word, oh, it's going to be hard work, using the word hard, then it will always be hard. And I feel that we got to try to be very mindful of the language we use and try to use more light and positive kind language with ourselves and they say it takes about 20, 21, 22 days of continuous practice to change a habit, a negative habit, and really it's a willingness, which I want to delve into now. Is, if you are feeling that there are things in your life that you're not happy with, work or personal or marriage or relationship, then take action. Take action, take responsibility. There's massive changes happening in our society, in our communities, moving away from the guru and moving towards the inner guru. Not what does the doctor think, what does the priest think, and really trusting in your own awareness, trusting in your own intuition, taking responsibility. And I feel that when people do, they move away from sort of I'm the victim, I can't. And I say to people, just it's not that you can't; it's because you don't want to. And really, it's about taking action. It's about being proactive. It's about being positive. Of course, it's not going to feel not hard, but do people want to suffer? And a lot of people don't want to suffer. We should all be living a happy and healthful, content and peaceful life. But I just want to mention another area that is something, and one of the reasons why me and Chris created the Purple Mountain, and we're very, very lucky we created the Purple Mountain as a health and well-being hub, because we find that community, there has been a lack of community spirit in the world, in England. And there's lots of amazing places. So wherever you are, wherever you're listening across the country, there are amazing centers, spiritual hubs, health and well-being hubs. Connect with them, and a lot of them do amazing work. And some of the work that we do at the Purple Mountain, we don't just look at one area of health and well-being. We do meditation classes. We do Kambo, which is an Amazonian tree frog medicine that we use to cleanse the physical body. We do lots of sound healing, massages. So we're well versed, aren't we, Chris, on a spectrum
Yeah.
of different health and
And
well-being.
something that we're witnessing more and more as our centre has evolved and changed, certainly over the last 2 to 3 years, is we've been practicing sound baths and retreats a lot more. And quite often, a lot of our clients will say, "Oh, I feel so sleepy after. I almost feel dozy after the session." And what it is they've actually relaxed. And it's been so long since they've fully relaxed to just let go of any tension in the body. We actually all can forget how that feels to be in a state of total relaxation.
Yeah,
So there are some wonderful tools out there. Also, connecting with people like we are here. That's a positive side of technology, is what's occurred, with over Zoom, and you can connect with a lot of like-minded groups. But our sound baths are something we really enjoy facilitating, myself and Stephen being in that relaxing space. And we have many people visiting our centre who perhaps wouldn't visit for other events, but they really enjoy the sound baths. And I want to sort of back up what you were talking about, Stephen, of taking personal responsibility, which is sometimes others of us have to do this, is where we might look around and say, do you know what? It might not be my job. It might not be my partner. It might not be my next door neighbor. Maybe it's me, and looking within. Okay, now that can be very triggering. It really can be. But I say by doing those things, that's an excellent way of sort of opening up to what you need. Many people talk in this day and age about cutting things away. Oh, cut it has to be harsh, cutting away. And we don't have to do that. Nothing has to be attacked or fought. All that it has to do is being given a voice. So maybe it's that child within, or just an emotion. I'm feeling this emotion. It just wants to be heard. And all we have to do is sit still, take a breath, and say, what is my body really trying to tell me? What is this emotion trying to tell me? And we let that come up, and it might conclude in having a bit of a cry. You might start laughing uncontrollably and let that joy side out, but allowing our emotions to speak. And I really feel that takes us out of we call the victim mode into being self-empowered, into not being all this is happening against me. You start to see things are actually happening for me. And things will then, you can always tell when your mindset shifts and you get into that space, because things start to feel effortless. Even the challenges, you'll
yeah,
just wade through them and go, I can navigate through that. I could do this. And I know this person that's really triggering me and getting on my nerves at this moment. I know they're being brought in my life to show me something. So what are they showing me? So see, the questioning changes from why is this person doing this to me? Oh my, I feel so sorry for myself. Instead, we're taking ourselves away. What is this person teaching me? And I guarantee that will help a great deal. And the perspective of it might take a bit of getting around to find what lesson it is, but that's empowering ourselves of not, being stuck in this corner where we can find ourselves. And something I always say, it's nobody is ever alone in this world. We are never alone. So it's recognizing how powerful you are. We use meditation and have always used meditation as a powerful tool at the Purple Mountain. From day one, we practice meditation, and I feel we're living again in a wonderful time where there's so many guided meditations that are free. You can go on many platforms now where there's meditations for sleep, meditations for relaxation, whatever you're looking to connect with. And I really would promote trying that. We're going to be doing a guided meditation at the end of this show, which I hope you'll all join in for, and just take that time for yourself. That's so important. And also, what I want to pass over to Stephen, because I know this is a big passion of yours and something you've got a lot of experience, is actually meditating to assist with sleep problems as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are unfortunately struggling with sleep, and I find that is through what I say the biggest pandemic at the moment is mental health. People that are overworked and entrapped themselves in the mind center, and this is why mindfulness is really important. And really, we talk about mindfulness, but I want to link this into heartfulness. So it's moving away from the mind state to the heart space. So it's about loving kindness, gentleness, compassion, which is the divine feminine energies around the heart energy. And I used to struggle deeply with sleep problems. Used to get very stressed, very anxious with things, worry. We all do, and it's actually what I've been practicing meditation before bed for about nearly 10 years now. And I have from sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes if I had a very stressful day, I have an hour of meditation. And what really helps me navigate through the meditation practice is actually I use breath work, which is I use a very basic technique, which I'll be teaching people later, which is breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And I know we don't do that consciously, but we're going to practice that later. And that's a practice I do. And what breath work does by breathing properly, it helps relax the nervous system. And what that does, it helps us remove from the mind and helps us connect with the heart. So in Chinese medicine, that the heart is the spirit is called Shen. So the during the day, Shen, the spirit is in the mind because it's working. We're working during the day, and what we want at night time, we want to switch that light bulb off, get Shen into the heart space, and go to sleep. Now there are other little things that people can do, which is some things that me and Chris have picked up through the study of Feng Shui, which is energy in your room. Look at making sure the rooms well ventilated. Buy yourselves some Himalayan salt lamps or selenite lamps. Put them at the side because they're really, really good. They absorb positive ions and release negative ions, and that helps stimulate relaxation. There are numerous of different health and well-being crystals that you can use that you can put in your bedroom that can help. Make sure your bedding's nice and clean. Making sure where the bed's located. The incense candle. You can do sage smudging in your house before. So remember, we see a lot in this kind of work as energy. Everything that we should see as a vibration and energy. And your sleep is very, very, very important. And I know a lot of health and well-being gurus say, you only need 5 hours sleep, and some people see need 8 hours. Well, everybody's different. Me and Chris work a lot mentally. We do a lot of one-to-one spiritual readings. So sometimes we can be very mentally exhausted. And I need at least 11, 12 hours of sleep, including siestas. And we're all different. Everybody's different. I know people might laugh about that,
Oh,
but
I love it. Love a siesta. If you haven't had a siesta, try it. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel we touched on a really important subject, and I know we've done a lot of work over the years, Stephen, in the practice of how we keep our bedrooms, what we keep in it. The less technology, the better. And also, what I want to share is the time before we go to bed is really important. So perhaps that hour before you go to bed, what you do, something very calming, not watching anything that's too erratic or listening to anything that's too erratic, just softening yourself down, bringing yourself down a few levels. If you imagine you're at a 10, so you want to come down slowly. So by the time you go to bed, you're in a calm state as well. We promote the use of Himalayan salt lamps as well, which we've also had a lot of feedback that it has improved or assisted, and they put out those ions that can help as well. Also playing soft music and the lighting and feng shui. We've done a little bit of work with feng shui. I'm sure many of the listeners are familiar, but also it's just following your feelings. If you look at a room, I know Stephen and his partner Adam, they just moved, and I know you've looked at some of your rooms, and gone, no, that doesn't quite work. We need to move that, and that is using energy. It doesn't flow, and that things just need to flow. That's all I want
I mean, I
to
just
say
want
on
to
that
mention
one.
as well. I may want to mention about pictures as well. A lot of people have some wonderful pictures in the bedroom, and try to, if you do struggle sleeping, stay away from religious pictures like Buddha pictures or Christ pictures, and also pictures of nature. Very subtle, gentle pictures really
Yeah.
stimulate a good feng shui in your room, in your bedroom.
They actually say in Feng Shui, one of the best artwork to have is actually a fish. It's very
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
as well, and the positioning of the bed. A bed ideally shouldn't be against an outside wall. Okay. But if you're interested in that, you can find all these things as well, these tips. So we're happy to assist as well if you want to reach out to us. Um, but what I wanted to touch on just quickly as well with that, because I know a couple of people have commented about being looking after yourself before others, which is important. I mean, we can love and care for others, but also when we talk about well-being, again coming back to us, and a big part of that is setting healthy boundaries in our life as well, in recognizing what we can and what we can't do, and all that is expected. Certainly I believe in knowing this life is that doing your very best is all that anyone expects. If you've done your very best, and it's sometimes learning to say, no, I can't do that today. I'm not able to do that, and not feeling guilty about it because we've done our very best. If you're in a relationship, a friendship, or something that you find it very draining on your energies, you don't have to suffer that. There are things we can do to set healthy boundaries, sometimes saying, I'm not here to listen to that. Something myself and Stephen have had to learn a lot over the last couple of years. And when we're so compassionate, what we can happen is we're listening so much, we're taking on so much, and it's non-stop, it keeps flooding in. So sometimes there has to be that boundary of saying, this is my time to regenerate. I call it like the inner flame. And the way our inner flame stays lit is by our passions, doing things we like doing. So that's needed. And if that's lit and it's firing on all cylinders, then everyone around us is going to feel the benefit. They're getting the very best version of
Mm.
us at top energy, which is really important.
And there's a lot of people, unfortunately, as well, that really spend their whole life looking after children, looking after their husbands, looking after their wives, and they don't know who they are. And like you said, I call it self-nourishing. You've got to do things in life every day that nourishes you. Good Buddhist practice is do something every day. Every day, do something that nourishes your soul. But also, when
Yes,
we talk about
could I mention something quickly, Steve? Sorry to interrupt. It's only quick, but it's just I've noticed a book at the side of me, and I've got to share it. And it's actually the Japanese wisdom for a perfectly imperfect life. And this book is just by the side of me by chance. And I don't know if anybody knows, but in Japan, they have an art where if they break something, break a cup or drop a vase, that they actually glue it back together with gold paint, and it's to show the perfection in imperfection. So that's something I really want to share with everybody, that nobody gets it right all the time. It's impossible. That's what we're here to do. We live and learn. So don't be too hard on yourselves when you get things wrong. Do what you need to do. You need to make an apology, fine. But many say the greatest apology is not making the same mistake twice. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to get that in, Stephen. It
No, you
just
got to
pulled.
share yeah, no, you got to share what you're impressed with. The thing is, as well, when we talk about boundaries before, is that we feel that, as a daughter, as a father, as a mother, we feel obligated to rescue people, and really it's not. Our job is to hold space, to support, to empower, to guide, to help, but we can't live lives for other people. There's so many people that come to see me and Chris in private readings, and the quantum regression and other kind of stuff. We do massages, and they're all struggling with relationships with people, and I say you can only do your best. You can't rescue people. You can't stop what people are going to do, and just do your best. But I want to move on to another subject, because time is ticking away, even though
Yes,
time doesn't
we
exist.
want to get as much in as we possibly can.
Yeah, I want to talk about another major passion of mine, which is the importance of water. And just some quick facts: about 75-80% of our physical body is made of water. Now, there is something that we do, that you can do, those that are listening, is you can activate, energize your water that you drink through crystals. What we do, we have these massive um, glass containers at our health and wellbeing center, and we fill up right with water. We filter the water, and we use shungite crystal, which carbonates the water. And you can buy all these crystals online, get some good quality grade A or grade B crystals. So shungite crystals, clear quartz, rose quartz, black obsidian, and you can put them into the water and they activate. And remember, like I said before, what we eat, we don't eat food, we eat energy. We drink fluid. Water is the most important substance for our physical body. And this, when people come for massages, often people say, I've got lower back problems, and I have a look at the back, and straight away I say, you're not drinking enough water, because your area just on your lower back, at least 70% of that area is made of water. When you look at your stomach, people talk about indigestion. And I say, yes, don't eat late. Eating late causes a bad indigestion, acid reflux, those that suffer from acid reflux. Your lining of your stomach is made of hydrochloric acid, and 80% of hydrochloric acid is made of water. So the first thing that's going to happen when you're dehydrated is that the lining of your stomach will shrink, and course acid will then come up. So a massive simple remedy, and it takes a week, is start drinking 2 to 3 liters of water every day. It nourishes your body. And remember, what you're drinking today, you're already drinking for tomorrow. So people think, well, I'm a bit dehydrated. That's most likely you didn't drink enough yesterday. So, and something else that we add into our water is electrolytes, and it's also Celtic salt. Anybody that doesn't know about salt is very, 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 very important for the physical body. And we promote Celtic salt as the super salt, because Celtic salt contains 85 minerals. I know Himalayan salt's very popular, but a Celtic salt contains more magnesium, and magnesium is a water hungry molecule, which means it helps absorb nutrients with potassium and magnesium into the cells, and that what nourishes our physical body. So when people say, well, I'm drinking lots of water, but I'm keep going to the toilet, and that's because you're short of minerals. So when people say stay away from salt, what doctors are actually saying is stay away from table salt, because table salt contains sodium chloride, which poisons the cells, which destroys the body. What you want, you need all minerals. You need magnesium, potassium, all these hungry water molecule crystals into your blood, into your cells. So Celtic salt and water get on it. It's amazing for your brain. I mean, when Chris, I know what you like. I know what we both like. When we don't drink enough water, I feel foggy. I feel dizzy. I don't feel right.
Quite often as well, if there's anybody who has headaches frequently. Now, if you a lot of headaches are caused through dehydration. So if you try, before you go to any form of medication or anything like that, try drinking water, 2 full glasses of water at a steady rate, and you'll find that most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it will go away, that headache. A lot are caused by dehydration. And another thing for anybody who's a coffee drinker out there, now a lot of people use
Yeah.
coffee and energy drinks as an aid to keep, work a lot of hours. And if you actually get some Celtic salt and you can just take a piece because it's quite coarse and put it on your tongue and drink some water, that is a natural energy booster that gets the minerals in your body, gets your energy moving. And you can do that a couple of times a day. Because I just did some quick like notes to fire out while Stephen was talking, like the things to avoid. Things to avoid if you're tired, if you're feeling low, avoid alcohol. If you like a drink, fair enough, but limit it. Try not to go to these things as a tool if you're not feeling on par. Coffee as well. Coffee can affect our sleep, and with coffee, quite often what we're doing is we are taking away from energy, borrowing energy from the future from a few days.
Yes.
You're not gaining anything. So what happens if you drink a lot of coffee, and many might find this, is a couple of days in, you have the crash from that as well. So moderation in that. Energy drinks, especially the ones with the luminous bottles, avoid. The more luminous, avoid. And coming back to natural things like water, get yourself a water filter machine. Not It's not too expensive. These things, shungite crystals. These things are at great expense to set up, and once you set up your own filter, you can use that for the water you cook with, the water you drink, everything. Celtic salt is a great investment. Anybody who's struggling with that, reach out to us. You can also get hold of Celtic salt. Now, also another one for anybody who's got a sweet tooth out there is actually cacao chocolate. And I don't know if anybody's heard of cacao. And I want to put it really simply: is cacao is before it's chocolate before it's had all the additives. So it's without all those additives, the cocoa being in its purest form. Okay, and that is wonderful and actually can be made into a drink, like a chocolate drink. And it could be quite bitter at first, but you can add all sorts to it, like cayenne pepper, or which is excellent, especially if you had high blood pressure, things like that. Okay, you can add cinnamon, you can add a little bit of honey to
Ginger.
help with the flavor, ginger. You can experiment really, but what I'm getting to with cacao is it's an excellent substitute for coffee as well. So there's a lot of people at the minute that are shifting over, and it's a natural substitute that's nourishing for the body, very powerful
Mm.
antioxidant. So look up cacao. The last thing I want to touch on before I throw over to Stephen with this is social media, and it was mentioned TikTok. The we all get addicted to doing that. Um, on our phones, on our iPads. And what I want to say is, some of us work that way, and there's nothing wrong with anything in moderation, but it's limiting it a little bit, especially when we go back to our bedtime routine, because I'm sure many have done it before long. You're on TikTok, Instagram, and an hour's gone by, and that's an hour that we could have been settling, meditating. So yeah, just being aware of things as well that way. So a few little things to bring in, and remember, nobody gets it right all the time. Sometimes, oh, do you know what? I just fancied a coffee today. What's important is, if it could be anything, but if you're trying to cut it out of what you're eating, if it's brought in or you have a takeaway, do not be hard on yourself, because that being hard on yourself, punishing yourself, is actually worse than what you've just eaten for your body. You're going to spend days giving yourself a telling off to the stage where you make yourself sick for punishing yourself for eating so much. So just say,
Mm.
oh, I didn't get it quite right today, but you know what? It's a new day tomorrow. We start again. So yeah, that's just a little bit on the some things to avoid and some things to try and bring in.
Yeah, caffeine kills the pancreas, absolutely kills the kidneys. It already wastes away that precious energy that you feel that you're conserving. You're actually losing. But also going back to the Celtic salt and Himalayan salt, when we talk about relationship with water, there's lots of things that we do at the centre, and particularly in the summer months more, which is the
Ice
cold water
baths.
baths, ice
Yeah.
baths, which a lot of people are getting into now when you're spending time in nature and the jumping in the lake and the river, and that really invigorates, and it's great for people with high and low blood pressure because it helps regulate. Infrared saunas, get yourself booked into these retreats. There's loads of spas and retreat centers out. Treat yourself, spend a little bit, reserve a little bit of that money if you can, if you're struggling, because your health and your well-being is your lifeblood. Your body has to last a good life, and you've got to, your body is your temple. You've got to look after it. But I just want
Yeah,
to
and I
talk
just
about
want to
stuff.
say this. Sorry, Stephen. I just wanted to say there with the cold water baths, and people are even going into the sea as well. And it's again something to do as a community as well, or set out maybe to say, oh, we're going to do so much of this in a week. We're going to do cold showers for a week, and maybe do it with a friend. I don't mean like shower with a friend separately, and just maybe somebody at work can say, "Oh, should we do it and see how we get on?" And so you're not on your own, you're doing it and encouraging one another as well. These things can be fun. They don't have to be like harsh and hard. They can be enjoyable. And the more we enjoy doing it, the more it'll sort of draw us in, and it'll lift our spirits as well. Yes, sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
No, no. I just wanted to talk about something else that sort of came back to me today, and a huge passion of mine is trying to lean towards our relationship and our reconnection back with nature. Because I feel that in the Western world, in particular, there's been such a disconnection with us, with nature, and our relationship with herbal medicine, which has amazing, amazing mental, physical, and spiritual benefits. And one of them is, I want to talk about lion's mane. Lion's mane is a mushroom, and a natural mushroom that has amazing results. There's lots and lots of scientific papers, lots of research coming from America in particular. And I know a lot of our clients who've been taking lion's mane as a substitute to depression. So I'm seeing a lot more in young people that put themselves under incredible this amount of pressure to look a certain way, and they lack self-worth, lack self-confidence, and that sort of depresses people. That entraps them in the mind. And lion's mane is a very natural medicine that can is having amazing results out there in the world that can really, really assist and help nourish the brain cells, that can help realign um, things that are very distorted in the brain. And I know a lot of people that have started to take supplements that you can find, good supplement supplier. Anybody that wants to contact me and Chris, we know a few people, good sources that you can go to that can really help nourish the brain, because people talk about the health of organs, and they talk about the liver, and they talk about the stomach, and they talk about the digestive system, but people always neglect one of the most important organs is the brain. You've got to look after the brain. It will help us. And lion's mane, with drinking lots of water, helps bring that clarity, and it helps with people that have very stressful jobs, and it just brings a bit of calmness, a bit of gentleness. So I just really want to, I'm a massive supporter of herbal medicine as the great teachers. Chris talked about cacao. We use cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is a cardiovascular dilator, and it helps dilate the cardiovascular system. And this is why cayenne pepper is excellent with people with high blood pressure. And it really opens up the capillaries, opens up the heart, opens up the blood. It's amazing, just simple herbs that we have in our herb cupboard. And really, this is just amazing out there once you tap into it, isn't there, Chris?
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to touch on as well, which I can't believe we mentioned yet, is actual music. And music can have wonderful effects on our well-being and really guide us through. And it's very simple. It's whatever music you like, whatever speaks to your soul. And I found music can really guide you through things in life. It can lift your spirits, whether that's just sitting there chilling, listening to some classical music or meditation music, or whether you're doing like you're hoovering and you're blasting out some songs, and it brings the energy in and it lifts the energy. So, and also turn into music, and something I just want to repeat because I know we are coming up to a time and we're going to start our meditation shortly. Is if anyone listening uh, ever feels like they're on their own in this, you're not. There are lots of us that have felt similar, felt a little bit in a corner, felt a little bit trapped at some stage. You are not on your own. So reach out to somebody, reach out to us, reach out to a friend. There is somebody around you can have a chat to and can help you and advise you. And at the Purple Mountain, we offer we're blessed to be able to offer many things. We do one-to-one sessions. We do healing treatments, sound healing treatments, crystal healing treatments. Also, we do many forms of massage, Hopi ear candles. We do group sessions with sound baths. Also, we do cacao evenings where you can come and enjoy it as a community. We'll shortly be offering quantum hypnosis, which is a very, very powerful technique established by Dolores Cannon many years ago, and that's a full day in terms of past life regression, but in its use to actually help us unlock the keys of why we feel the way we do here and give us some guidance in this life we're living now and help us find what me and Stephen call our divine purpose, what lights that fire, what we should be doing in life.
And really, you know, when we talk about these things, we're not talking about religion. We're not part of a religious order.
Yeah.
Our religion is unconditional love. It's about unity, friendship, community. We should live all in one world. I want to love everybody, and I want everyone to love us as well. But just want to mention as well, there's a lot of subjects we've talked, and it is difficult in 1 hour to talk about what our passions are. We're so passionate about this thing. But I just want to mention as well about our podcast. We've got many, many wonderful episodes on our podcast. I think we've done a podcast, an hour and a half, 2 hour session just on water, on crystals. So there's lots of podcast episodes that you'll find incredibly interesting. That it really our aim is to share our experiences to inspire you. We don't want people to suffer unnecessarily. And we talk about mental suffering, spiritual suffering, physical suffering. We want people to live their true self. Chris mentioned about things shouldn't be hard. We should live a life of effortless divine purpose. We should live our divine purpose in peace, love, and harmony. That is possible. That will be possible. And I think
And I
it'd be
think the
great,
big,
Chris.
I think the big thing you touched on there, Stephen, which I'm really passionate about as well, is coming back to community, coming back together, having these conversations, coming back and not judging or pointing the finger, just accepting each other as we are in many ways. We all have flaws. Nobody's perfect, as I say, and just coming together and realize that everybody's playing a role in some way or another in our lives.
I think what'd be great, Chris, if we can start maybe our guided meditation. And
It's wonderful.
I'm going to do some breath work with everybody. And I just want to mention about breath work. Breath work is so simple. It's simple, it's free to do, and yet it is so effective to relax the nervous system, because as often as our nervous system that gets aggravated and we feel angry and fiery. Now, some misconceptions: we don't breathe using our shoulders. So when people say breathe in, breathe out, that's wrong way of breathing. We actually don't use our lungs for breathing. We use what we call abdominal breathing. So we breathe using the stomach chi, the stomach energy. And obviously you won't be able to see that because I'm sitting down on a chair, but I'm going to lean back a little bit here. So we're going to use the energy of our stomach chi. Okay, so I've got a lovely rose quartz crystal here in my hand, and this is a lovely crystal that I love starting off working with, particularly first thing in the morning. You can do this in the shower or sitting at the edge of your bed. You can do it at work. These techniques, just a couple of techniques I'm going to show you. I'm going to hand them over to Chris, which will then follow us into a guided meditation. So I like to place my hands on the center of my heart, and let's just all close our eyes. Let's all close our eyes and let's just take a nice deep breath in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. So with every deep breath in through the nose, nice gentle breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I want you now just to bring your awareness to the sound and the feeling of your heart. So keep your hands on your heart. And what we're doing here, we're just bringing in our awareness to the heart space. It's a simple technique, moving away from the mind, moving our attention to the heart space. So nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just bringing our awareness to the heart space, just breathing in that love, breathing into that light, into the heart. And I want you now to take another deep breath in through the nose, but this time I want you to hold your breath. So breathe in through the nose, breathe in as much air as you can. Hold your breath, hold it, and then breathe all the air out of your lungs. So we're filling in the lungs with lots of light and air, holding the breath. And then as we breathe out, we're emptying the canal of the lung chi and the heart chi. So we're making room for good energy. So let's do that again. Breathe in as much air as you can in through the nose. Hold in the breath. Hold in the breath. And push all the air out through the mouth now. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe in as much air into the lungs. Holding your breath. Holding your breath. And release it through the mouth. Just release your hands for me, everybody. Give your hands a bit of a shake. Just move your body around a little bit. That's it. And just lift your shoulders up and down. Okay, I'm just going to do one more technique and I'm going to then hand over to Chris. So let's take another nice deep breath in through the nose. And as we breathe out, we make a sigh. And what we're doing there is listening to the body. We're releasing any tension in the body. And it doesn't matter what you sound like or wherever you are. So nice deep breath. Oh. So breathe in. Oh. And release. Just make any noise. Oh. And release. And breathe in again through the nose. Oh, and release. And what you're doing there, you're just releasing. And what you can do as well as you breathe in, oh, shake all that energy out of the body. So breathe in through the nose. Oh, and release. So just let go of anything that you don't no longer want to hold on to. Oh. Oh. That's it.
Okay, friends. So now, if you're sitting or wherever you're listening to us, just try and get in a comfortable position and perhaps just close your eyes for a few moments. Now we've took them breaths to just sit back and have a really good shuffle Make sure you're just going to be comfortable for the next few minutes or so. And just very slowly taking some breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I'd like you to envisage as you're doing this, breathing in light, and with the out breath, releasing any tension in the body, any areas of tension being released. So breathing in light and breathing out any tension. Breathing in light very gently and breathing out. And what I'd like you to do now with your eyes closed, in whichever your room you're in, just feel that room softly melting away. You're moving away from that scene. And you can just hear in the distance the sound of the sea, the sound of the shore, the water moving in and out. And as the water's moving in and out, you can hear that gentle shore. You can hear the gentle sea, that movement, and it feels good. And I'd like you to envisage now walking along a beach. You can feel the sand between your toes. You can feel the warmth underneath your feet. Nice and gently walking along the beach. It's a beautiful hot day. You can feel the sun on your face and on your body, and it feels energizing. It feels with that sun and heat that you're absorbing that energy that you need, giving you everything you need to face any challenges at this moment in time. So you can feel the sand between your toes, that feels good. And you can feel the heat of the sun, and it's a beautiful blue sky. You can hear the birds in the distance, and you're walking along this beach, such a beautiful beach. And there's no other souls here, just for you. This is just a space just for you to be in at this time. And this place has no worries. There's plenty of time for any worries later. They'll come later, they'll be waiting. But for now, we're going to leave them behind. And we're just relaxing. And as we feel comfortable in this space and just look around and sense how you feel and how calm you feel and how energized you feel by just being in this calm space. And what I'd like you to do now is walk closer to the water, just as the water's edge, just as it's moving very gently, the waves very gently moving in and out. They're very calm. And I'd like you just to allow your feet to touch the water, just to stand on the edge of the shore, just so you can feel the water moving around your feet. And the water feels cool. It feels energizing. It feels cleansing. You can feel that cool water coming between your toes and the bottom of your feet. The sound of the shore, the birds, this beautiful place. And what I'd like you to do now is to take a deep breath in and then release with a sigh. Ah, and just feel at this moment any areas of your body that you may feel that have any tension. Just letting them go. We're going to let them go with the tide of the water, just as it comes in, washing over your feet, cleansing, and then moving back and releasing. Any tension just being released, the mind, the body, or the spirit. And now I'd like you to go back to the breath, friends. A nice, gentle breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, observing how calm you feel, observing what a wonderful place that you've been to and that you can visit this place anytime you need to. Observing how relaxed your body feels. Perhaps something that you had in your mind before that you can see so clearly now the solution to. And just feeling as you come back into the room now and just wriggle your toes a little bit. You can move your arms and feet and just feel how the body feels. Feel how relaxed you can feel and know that you are deserving of this. And with one last gentle deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, bringing your awareness back into the room. Friends, I hope you enjoyed that meditation this evening and all that's been shared.
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody, and I'd like to thank Adam and Mark for allowing us to take over their show, and hopefully we'll do another one in the near future. We thank you for allowing us to share our wisdom, our knowledge, our experiences. Please connect with us on the purplemountain.co.uk and our podcasts that are located on there, lots of episodes. Please find us on Facebook as well. We offer lots of wonderful positive services that are there to help guide you to become your true beautiful self. And myself and Chris, we're very lucky we're part of a wonderful team, including Chris's mum, and we offer lots of services, readings, retreats and healing. And really my message as we close down is you're not alone. Connect with us, connect with other like-minded people that are around you. I do believe, however, before I hand over to Chris, is that Mark and Adam are not hosting a show live next week because they are in London at the XL, the Health and Wellbeing Care Show, and I believe tickets are free. How wonderful is that? If tickets are free, come up and support them, support the amazing work that they're doing, inspiring, bringing people together. This is what all this work is about, coming together as one. Any last message there, Chris, before we close down?
I now just want to show just a lot of appreciation for Adam and Mark for inviting us on, and keep up the good work with the wonderful work they're doing here and the wonderful work that many of you are doing out there. Whatever you're doing that's unique or is your passion, it's been a pleasure to share this space with you. And I just want to share from our hearts to yours, lots of love. And if you need us, we're here. Reach out to us. We're always happy to advise or share whenever we need to. So thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Goodbye. Thank you.